Hi, everybody. You're listening to WXED 107.3. Normally, we record the news wrap-up show earlier in the week, but amazingly enough, we're recording it on the day that it's going to air. So how about a news wrap-up? How you doing, Jonathan?
Fine. How are you?
I guess I forgot to introduce you. I do every week, but we have Jonathan Cortez from elwoodcity.org. And you also post the audio clips of the news wrap-up on elwoodcity.org the following week after they air, correct?
Usually, yes.
All right. All right, so what kind of news do we have happening in Elwood?
Well, we pretty much just got to run through the entire town. I guess everything that could have news. So start with the council. On Monday, the council will vote on a full-time police officer.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. And Josick retired, our K-9.
Yes, that was sad.
Yeah, at least 9 years.
9 years on the force.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is exceptionally long. Normally, police dogs are only on for 6 or 7.
Yeah, 9 years is old for a German Shepherd.
Yeah, and he, those are 9 active years. Josick was responsible for a lot of different operations they had over there. I remember the mayor talking to me about it last week, and he had more statistics than my vagueness about it, but it was a lot. And I mean, their dog is, trained to be physical, I don't want to say vicious, but I mean,
sometimes
it's a hard job. And to have a German Shepherd, normally German Shepherds only live about 9 years. So he's been on the force 9 years. He's an old man.
Yeah.
So I was pretty excited, though, that Ranger, who's his son, is taking his place. And I was also very excited that Sergeant McBride gets to keep him.
Yeah, on the agenda on Monday is selling Josick to Sergeant McBride for $1.
Yeah. I love that, because there was a story in, I want to say it was like Medissa, Ohio or something like that, but this officer had this police dog since he was a puppy, and he'd gone through training with him, and he'd always had him. Well, it wasn't the dog who was retiring, it was the police officer himself who was retiring, and they were removing the dog from him, and they had such a bond that everybody was like just brokenhearted about it. So the police department said that they would auction the dog, and the dog still had at least 5 good years of service, so they were going to auction for $7,000. And somebody started a GoFundMe account, and they were trying to raise the $7,000. Turns out they raised $50,000. And then they turned around, instead of auctioning the dog, they worked out an arrangement with the officer to come on as a part-time auxiliary police officer in his retirement. So he was still technically employed by the city, so that way he could keep the dog. So there was no auction. So what they did was they took the $50,000 in donations and they donated it to the school who trains the police dogs. So it was like such a good story. So after seeing that they take the dogs away from the officers who've had them, I got really worried when I heard that Josick was retiring. I was like, oh no, because Sergeant McBride, it's not just him and the dog that have a relationship. Mike has like 4 or 5 kids, and even though the dog is trained to be an officer and he does a job, he's still a dog.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see like taking my kid's dog away, so I was just like really nervous. I was so excited when I heard that he was going to keep him. It's a sappy thing, but So, when are they gonna auction him for $1 to Mike?
On Monday.
On Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. So what else do we got going on?
Well, I guess more on Josick is that some people might be aware, so I don't know that much about it, but just to, clear up the issue is, at one point Josick did bite Sergeant McBride while they were at home, but that was several years ago, and obviously whatever complications were with that were resolved. Otherwise, I don't think Sergeant McBride would have kept working with Josick, right. And subsequently he got promoted to sergeant just last year, and he wouldn't buy Josick in retirement, and he wouldn't be working with Ranger now.
Yeah, I know that the mayor had told me that originally Josick was very leery of people, all people, not just the bad guys, but the handlers and the mayor. And he told me, he said it was a very tense relationship when Josick was first coming on several years ago. And he said it took several bags of dog treats before the dog realized who was the friend and who was not. And so he was reminiscing the other day during his interview about the many pizzas shared between him and Josick. So it was cute. So he said that Ranger, just in the same legacy of his dad, is very leery of people. And so I told him, better start ordering some pizza, But yeah, that probably was then, because I know that they said Josick was he was a very leery dog when they first got him, but he turned out to be a spectacular officer. So the mayor actually did a proclamation to him at the last council meeting, right?
Yes.
And you were there?
Yes.
And you got pictures.
Yeah, there's one picture on elwoodcity.org.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go on to elwoodcity.org and check it out.
I didn't get as much of Josick as I wanted. He was kind of in front of a table, so I got him from like the shoulders up.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll still go check it out. Anything else?
So, as people in the affected areas noticed, there's some construction on the water lines that American PA Water's doing. That's in North Side around College Street, and on 5th and 6th Street around where the CVS
Yeah,
is.
the new CVS is. I heard also, I don't know if you want to look into it, but I heard Columbia Gas is going to start a very big project soon.
Yeah, I have heard about that as well.
Yeah, I've seen some of the sidewalks marked with a CG. I just assume they're probably Columbia Gas. So it looks like it's going to be a big project. And I know that the last time you had a guest, when we were talking to Connie McDonald, he was saying that they were trying to coordinate with Columbia Gas on what streets they were going to rip up. That way Elwood didn't have to spend the money paving a street that was going to get ripped up in a year. So I believe by that statement, that means Columbia Gas will be doing the streets this year. So, damage to the streets anyway.
Seems to be. So the super good news is the Lincoln softball team has finished the regular season 16-0 overall, 12-0 in their AA conference. They're ranked number 1 in the WPIAL. They'll be playing their first postseason game on Wednesday against at Seneca Valley, and it's either going to be against Neshannock or Waynesburg, depending on which team.
Who wins?
Yeah. Which, if it's Neshannock, they've already beat Neshannock twice, and the last time that was 13-3.
Wow. Oh, that's going to be exciting. Wow, the girls softball team is just killing it this year. Undefeated. Yeah. That's great.
So hopefully we'll be talking about them the rest of the school year, possibly longer. So going on to other things with the Elwood City School District, to all of the teachers, students, and parents, there's a survey that you can do on the school district's website if you want to do that. It's a few open-ended questions.
Do we have a web address?
For the school district? Mm-hmm. I don't. Just Elwood City School District. Just Google that.
Just Google it.
Yeah, it should show up. So I looked at one of the surveys. So it doesn't take that long. It's like 3 or 4 questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are there surveys trying to get the general consensus of the public?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not. There's not too much I can say about it without giving a lot of opinion, which won't be that nice.
I get you.
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to just gather feedback from the public. It's just that.
So I can go and log on to Google, and I can Google Elwood City area schools, and I can go to their website and take a survey.
Yeah, it should be fairly visible on the website. I think it's just like somewhere in the front, you click on it. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with that information. Like, if a bunch of people say one thing, if they'll try to change policy or not, I don't know.
Well, that would be kind of the basis that the whole country was founded on.
Yeah, I mean, some things
I'm really sure it always plays out that way, but
sometimes you can't always change things because, a lot of teachers might have a complaint that just isn't changeable from the board's perspective, or parents don't know it. A lot of times parents don't know what they're talking about. So.
Just tell me how you really feel. Don't sugarcoat it. Okay, so what else do you got going on?
The status of our athletic director is still a little undetermined. So the board initially had for their Thursday meeting to accept his resignation. That was on their agenda on Monday's meeting, and then on Thursday they had their voting meeting. It was no longer on the agenda.
So does it lead you to believe that he retracted his resignation?
That's what it seems. Whether or not his contract will be renewed in June or it won't be renewed, I don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
So because
we'll have to keep an ear out.
Because how that works is personnel issues don't have to be discussed in public. The press doesn't have to know about them. Oh. So it's it's Pennsylvania's right to know, or open records law, I guess. So most information has to be held in a public meeting.
Right.
Whether it's the school district or school board or the Lawrence County Commissioners meeting. And then there's a few things that are exempt from that can be held in executive session. And one of them is anything that has to do with personnel. So
staff members.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what else you got for me on your plate over there?
The school's budget. So,
That's been a big thing.
yeah,
For a while, it was Harrisburg holding it up, but now Harrisburg has done their part.
after a long
After
time. But,
forever,
but
yeah.
they didn't do their part yet because that was last year's school's budget.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
for this year. We
Yeah,
still
so
are
we're
waiting
still-
on next year.
The way it works is the school has to determine their budget, and the state doesn't have their budget yet. And the school, if they have to have their final budget approved by June 30th.
Okay, so
Or
if,
they get
if the school
penalized.
overshoots what the actual budget ends up being, then how does the school pull money in to make up the difference? I mean, if they promise out, $50,000 or $100,000 for this, that, and everything else,
they-
and then they only get approved for $75,000, how do they make up the difference?
I don't know. I have to ask Richard Zerone.
Yeah.
He's the
I mean,
the
that would be
district's
ridiculously
finance.
difficult to try to, prospectively give a proposed budget when you have no idea how much money you're going to get from the state because they haven't done their part. Seems like a vicious cycle.
Yes. So on Monday, Jarrett Gibbons was at the school board meeting, and he talked about how the legislature is going to try to not repeat last year and get things done soon. And since this is an
Well-
election year, they
They will.
have a big incentive to
Yeah.
do that. Although, how many people are going to forgive them from now until November? And he said to expect less than what Governor Wolf has proposed. So Wolf proposed an increase in school funding by,
We'll just
I
say
don't-
X amount of dollars.
yeah, we'll say X amount
We'll
of
say
dollars.
X amount of
It was
dollars.
like a 6 or 7%, I think. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember the exact number. Jarrett said to expect probably about half of that will get approved as an increase.
Okay.
So, and this is a process of increasing the funding back to what it was before Tom Corbett was governor, who slashed quite a bit of not just school funding, but funding for other public services like libraries.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. It was like libraries, state parks, art programs, things that enrich the lives
Yeah.
of children.
And what also is unfortunate about that is when you cut education funding like that, it affects poor school districts a lot more than wealthy ones. A wealthy school district, a lot of their money just comes from the tax base.
Mm-hmm.
Our school district is about half and half.
Yeah.
So we are severely affected by it, but not completely crippled.
Yeah. So what else do you want
Well, the budget,
mention
I do
about
have numbers for the school's budget. So the
Okay.
school's budget has to be done by June 30th. However, a preliminary budget has to be passed and advertised for 30 days before that. So they have to get that done by, I guess
by
that would
May
be
31st? Because
Yeah.
we have,
Yeah. So they did have a budget down. It was there was a 2.4% increase in the budget. And it came with no tax change. Our current tax rate is 16.56 mils. And the vote was 5-4 with Board President Renee Petrelli, Vice President Matt Morella, and Jennifer Toman, Danielle Woodhead, and Erica Gray voting against it, and Leroy Cortez, Anthony Bazzelli, Michael Newpower, and Kathy Panzera voting for it. And what's interesting about that breakdown is the 4 people who voted for it have all served at least 2 full terms or more. Like collectively, they might have almost 40 years collectively of school board service with them. While the 5 people who voted against it, 3 of them are new. They just got on, and the president and vice president are, I think, halfway through their first term. So it was clear. There's clear section, I guess, unofficial party divide between the older,
the
older
experienced people
Yeah.
who have been there, and whenever you get people who are new to those kinds of positions, they always want to do things differently because they think that the newer is always a better way to do things, which sometimes is true.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can watch history and realize that so many things didn't work that you need to change them. But so they only have though just 2 more weeks to hash that out
Yeah.
and agree to something.
Yeah, they had to create special meetings to do them because the regular board meetings
Aren't enough.
Yeah, it wouldn't have sufficed to fit in with the schedule. Another part of the problem, though, is that some of the board members won't be around, so it's hard to schedule a meeting when enough would be there.
Yeah.
So that's the budget. The final thing on the agenda is the school board approved a motion that will allow the school nurse at the high school to administer naloxone, which is a drug that
Oh, it counteracts other
yeah,
drugs.
that's the word. It counteracts the effects of opioids. I couldn't think of counteracts.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about it. When you first said it, I didn't know what it was.
That's the drug name, but the product that's patented is Narcan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about like people were having an overdose to something. They give them the Narcan and then it like counteracts it, makes them fine.
So EMTs are now, a lot of EMTs are now carrying Narcan on them. So when you arrive at the scene of an overdose and someone could potentially die before they get to the hospital from a heroin overdose, that can be administered and their life saved. And then hopefully they
turn their life around.
Go to jail, get rehabilitated, come back, and are productive members of society. So this was approved for the high school nurse. Hopefully it'll never have to be used. So the school has never had a situation with an overdose, so hopefully that will never happen.
Right.
But it was a preemptive measure and it's funded, so the training and the Narcan will be supplied to the school.
I was talking to the mayor the other day, and he said that Elwood, the more that it builds up a reputation of cleaning up its town and doing this and that, it tends to be looked on in a better light, and you kind of get more funding, and so it's almost like when the powers that be see that you're trying to become better, then they willingly give you funding and grants to continue bettering the situation. So I've been hearing a lot about grants and funding, more than I ever did before, so that's pretty exciting. Elwood City's going down the right path.
And grants that the borough has gotten, they've used well.
Yeah.
That's not my opinion. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody from Lawrence County who acts as an intermediary between the state and grants applied to Lawrence County said that at a council meeting. So the borough's looked on favorably for that.
Yeah, I mean, if you use the money that they give you wisely, you're more likely to get more money in the future. If you squander it away on frivolous things that weren't needed, they're going to be like, well, you didn't use it very well. So, well, that's really good to know. You have anything else for us this week?
Nope, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. All right, thank you to Jonathan Cortez. Once again, he is from elwoodcity.org, doing a weekly news wrap-up every Saturday at 6 p.m. here on WXCD 107.3. Before I get out of here today, I would like to remind you guys that tomorrow is the WXCD Open House. It's on the second floor of Dayspring Harvest Ministries, located at 316 6th Street, Elwood City. Our open house is from 2 to 4 p.m. You can meet the staff, record a free shout-out, watch a live DJ on the air, see someone get interviewed on the air, learn how to become involved with your community radio station. There will also be a Tupperware demonstration where you can order Tupperware and the proceeds go to support WXCD. Also, refreshments, live entertainment, questions and answers, and a tour of the facilities. Make sure you stop over here, 316 6th Street, for the WXCD Open House, Sunday, May 15th, 2 to 4 p.m. This is DJ Nikki. Thanks for coming and being on the wrap-up show today, and I'll see you next week.